Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom. Thank you for joining me. Tonight's episode, I wanted to talk about a question that was sent into Cora about how long can the narcissist fake love? I thought that was a really interesting question. And so I'd like to address it in this episode. Before I start, if you like any of my videos, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel and also share widely. That would help me grow the channel. Thanks for that, guys. All right, so getting down to it. So the first thing you have to remember with the narcissist is the end always justifies the means, i.e. what they want and need is supply that gives them fuel. So they will do whatever they have to do. And if that means faking love, then they will fake love. They can do it for years, literally years. I was married. I'm still married. 14 years. 14 years. Fake love. I've heard of women who've been married for 20 years, 30 years, 30 plus years, who've come out of it and realized that it was fake. But the thing is, it's a lot more complicated than that. So bear with me, I've got my notes. All right, so if you all remember the beginning, just quickly, so the love bombing stages. This is where they learned what love looked like to you. So, for example, I remember when I was being love bombed, my soon-to-be ex was bringing around flowers and strawberries, and doing sweet little gestures, things, sweet things. Basically, he was, taking my temperature, seeing what it was that I was looking for. He was looking at the way I showed and gave love, and then mirroring it back to me, which is what, essentially they all do. But the thing is, they can't actually maintain the fake love act for the entire, 14 years or whatever. This is why, there are moments where the mask crumbles or the mask slides. Quite literally, because the pressure of being a nice, normal, loving, caring bloke, that's really hard for a narcissist. They're having to stop saying the fucked up shit that's going on in their mind. They're having to stop themselves from saying the nasty things that they want to say to you. They're having to edit themselves. And that is draining. Right? But they know that if anyone knew what was actually going on in their mind, that person would probably run a mile. I mean, over the years, I picked up lots of little things that, that he let slip. And I tell you, that's dark, dark stuff going on in there. But anyhow, so look, where are we? Just quickly, I just wanted to say with the end justifying the means, one of the things that you've got to also remember is often they can't find what they're looking for, which is, grade A supply. So what ends up happening then is they have a whole range of different supply, so primary supply and secondary supply. So they, for example, they might have a, girlfriend, partner, lover, whatever, fulfilling a particular role. But if that person isn't grade A supply, then they're going to actually have other people around fulfilling other roles. Whether or not that, with the primary supply, whether or not they even know about the other people is another thing altogether. Let's assume that they don't know, because narcissists are pretty freaking sneaky and pretty good at keeping that kind of stuff on the down low. You know, so they might be going to different people for different types of sex. They might be going, you know, to other people for, you know, mental stimulation. They might be going to others for money. You know, there's a whole lot of things that equate supply and fuel to a narcissist. And if they can't get it from one person, they'll get it from a wide range of people and sources. So if you can imagine how draining that must be, trying to, you know, give everyone energy to get back what they want. So they want fuel from you, but they have to, you know, put on a performance for you in turn to get it. So it's kind of becomes quite draining when they don't have one good fuel supply. So when that happens, the fake love performance, it's harder for them to actually keep that act, keep the mask on, basically. So the mask will come off a lot quicker. It'll come off regularly because it's just too hard for them to maintain this false persona to too many people. You know, it's hard enough for them to do it with one primary supplier, let alone when they've got a whole range of people that they're trying to get fuel from. And so this brings me to the masking. I find this really kind of quite fascinating, actually. So we all know that they wear masks, not literally, obviously, metaphorically. You know, they wear masks, and they do this. There's lots of different reasons, but in this particular instance, they do it because they don't want you to see them for who they are. So, for example, when their mask has actually slipped, they'll put on a facade and pretend. For example, they'll pretend, oh, this is my mental health. Oh, this is not, you know, this is not me. Like, this is me having mental health problems, right? So that's a big one, the mental health act. My ex used to do it quite regularly when it suited him, you know, to pretend he was having issues with his mental health. In hindsight, with the knowledge that I have now, nothing to do with mental health, everything to do with wearing masks and being highly manipulative. You know, wearing a mask allows them to get away with certain behaviours. It makes you feel compassion towards them, even though they're, you know, literally being moody, mean, manipulative. You know, because it's their mental health. You know, what kind of a bitch would actually say something to someone who's having a mental health crisis? You know, no one's going to say it. So it's the perfect mask. So when their fake love mask is slipping, right, and they can feel it slipping because they're getting aggravated because it's just too fucking hard to be nice all the time to you, right? So they're like, oh, you know, they can feel it slipping, so they allow themselves to have a little outburst at you, and then they will say that it's because they're having a mental health problem. Or another one is the mask of loss and grief. So in my ex's situation, he uses the loss of his mother, you know, because I lost my mum at a young age, and so that was something that I identified with strongly. So when he wanted to, you know, either be alone for a while, or when he wanted, you know, some sympathy, when he wanted to get me to, you know, pamper him, look after him, mother him, you know, give him lots of attention and love and not ask too much from him, he would do the whole, the grieving. You know, I'm grieving the loss of my mother who died like 10 years before. And to be honest, what a shameful, shameful mask. I mean, to use the loss of anyone as an excuse to justify your own bullshit and bad behaviour, you know, that is so shameful, so unbelievably shameful. All right. Another one of the masks that they use is they will pretend to be angry at someone else, right? And they're in such a bad mood, right? Because this person and that, like, seething with rage, and you can see they're so angry, right? And you don't even want to go near them because you quite literally, you're scared because they're that angry. But once again, it's just a fake. It's a fake mask. It's just because it's getting tiring, being nice, being normal, and they know that if they don't have an excuse, you will start to see who they really are. So they take the nice, friendly, loving partner, husband, whatever, mask off, and then put on the I'm angry with someone else mask. I'm in a really foul mood. Work was fucked. Work was so bullshit. I can't fucking stand those bastards. Every day it's the same shit. And it gives them an excuse to rage, to threaten to carry on. And as someone who's sitting back and witnessing that, it's a scary thing to see. But because we all know what it's like to be in a bad mood with someone, and the anger is not necessarily directed at us. So we, once again, let it slip, let it slide past. Because he's just in a bad mood because he's had a bad day at work, or he had a fight with his best mate, or some bullshit story. It's all just fake. It's all because it's too hard to be a normal human being for too long. I mean, literally, they can do this mask swapping, a couple of times in a day to relieve the pressure of being a nice bloke and having to be nice to you. Because you've got to remember, they don't like people. They resent the fact that they need us for supply and fuel. They resent the fact that they have to be nice to get fuel from us. In a perfect world, they could treat us however they wanted and still get supply. That would be fantastic for a narcissist. All right, and so the last mask, I mean, look, there's heaps of them, but I've just listed 4. The last mask, that's a bit tricky, is the silent treatment, and that's a great mask because they don't even need to give you an excuse for what's going on, right? They just need to act sullen and silent. And they also get this extra added bonus because it's like you're going to spend ages trying to figure out what you've done wrong to put them in a bad mood. But in actual fact, you did nothing wrong to put them in a bad mood. What's happening is this is who they really are. They're miserable people. They're not happy people. They're not nice people. They're pathologically envious of other people. They can't stand anyone that's happy, joyful. They can't stand anything kind of positive. All of that stuff just shits them. It puts them in a mood, right? So once again, they can feel the happy, the fake love, fake happy, fake good guy mask. They can feel it slipping because it's too hard to hold that mask on. It really is too hard. So the silent treatment's perfect. They don't even really need to put on a mask. It's not even really a mask. It's just, it's an act that they use, and it works perfectly because it gives them that time away from fake love. It puts up an emotional distance between you and them. And also it feeds into the whole, they love playing the whole mystique of, I'm a wounded man, and no one knows the trouble I've seen. But if you're lucky, and if you're good to me, I might let you stick around. And then one day you might actually see the damage that's been done to me. They play those kind of roles really well, But the thing is, it's fake. It's just not real. So the love's not real, and neither is the wounded story, the wounded man persona, the man who's lost his mum and he suffers because he's lost this woman that he loves so much. Oh my God. Once again, fake as shit. So yes, they can fake love for as long as it takes to source new supply. or for as long as it takes to get what they want. But when they've either got enough supply, got enough fuel, or you're not coughing up the fuel that they want and need, right, then the fake love is an effort. It's draining them. And this is when you'll see these other masks and performances being put on solely to throw you off the track, so you don't figure out, because if he just acted like that, with no justification, you would think to yourself, well, he is like a really moody, nasty man, and he's just so miserable and grumpy, and why would anyone want to be around him, right? Like, he knows that too. He knows that he needs reasons for his bad behavior, which is why, like I said, he'll always have the stories about what the ex did, or what happened at work, or what happened with his mates or his parents. I've never heard a grown man whinge as much about his parents as I did with my narcissist. That was one of the things actually really struck me as quite strange. Like, who the fuck has issues with their parents in their 30s? Most normal people kind of are like, thanks, mum and dad, you did the best you could do, but I'm an adult now and I'll sort myself out. Good on you. Thanks very much. Nope, not the narcissist. The narcissist wants to talk about the issues, wants to use what happened as an excuse for bad behavior now, right? It's immature, and it's fake. Like, it's just fake. The underlying truth about this whole thing is that narcissists are empty meat suits, and just like Kim Wilson calls them, empty meat suits, devoid of love, empathy, compassion. They can fake all those things, but they don't actually feel them, and they know it. Like, they know there's something wrong with them, and they also know that once you know it, you'll be out of it, right? So they need the masks, they need their stories and their performances to keep you hanging around, and as I said, and the wounded one is like, that's the best, because it's like, it's as women, we're trained, that we should love men no matter how badly they treat us, and that we should try and heal them and look after them and love them, and heal them and look after them and love them. And so the narcissist relies on that kind of maternal instinct in their partners, and they use that, that I'm a wounded man. They use that performance to keep you there, trying to figure them out. But all you really need to figure out is that they're damaging you, they're toxic, and they're dangerous. And there's nothing to figure out. There's actually nothing going on in there. When he's doing that really intense kind of staring off into the distance, and you're thinking to yourself, like, wow, what's he thinking? It must be so deep and intense. Like, it's not. It's fake. That in itself is just fake. They're really, really conscious of how other people see them. So they know how to act. They know what it looks like. When someone's intently staring, they know what it looks like when someone's deeply distressed, or grieving. Like, they know what that looks like. And so they put on this act, this performance. But it's solely because they want something from you, And as I said, it's either fuel, or they want you to go away for a while because they can't stand being around you. It's one of those things, darlings. As soon as you are with a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, you need to start thinking about your exit strategies. This is just no way for anyone to live. It really, really isn't. Anyhow, just plant that little seed, grow it in your mind, figure out your exit strategy, figure out a plan, and get on out of there, because it's a beautiful world. narc free. It really, really is. It's a totally different, like 180 degrees different from what it was like for me, you know, with my narcissist. And don't get me wrong, I loved my narcissist. God, I hate that term, my narcissist. But my ex, you know, I loved my ex from the start to the very day that I, you know, had to leave. But the reality is that, you know, just because I loved him doesn't mean that he was any good for me at all. And being away from him has actually brought me back to life. So don't be worrying about how long can they fake love, you know. The question more should be, how long can you go without real love in your life? How long are you going to keep denying yourself real connection with someone who really genuinely cares about you and wants good things for you? That's the question you should be asking. All right, darlings, thank you for watching. Good night.